listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. This is your host, Tim Link. I'm so glad you're here with us today. Thanks for joining us. My guest today has been heralded as the Martha Stewart of the milk bone dish by New Yorker magazine. She's also been dubbed the Pet Diva by New York Post and crowned the Canine Queen by Forbes. Of course, it's Wendy Diamond joining us here shortly. And also Wendy is the founder and editor of Animal Fair Media and Magazine. So I want to talk to her a little bit about that. What does it take to be an editor of a major magazine and a major media empire, as we'll call it. So we'll have Wendy on here shortly. And today specifically, Wendy's going to be sharing with us expert tips to help your senior cats defy age. I have a feeling it's not Botox or facelifts or things of this sort. So it's going to be helpful tips that everyone can do to help their cats, especially their senior cats, continue to live a long and healthy life. So we're going to talk to her a little bit about that, as well as ask her some questions about her best-selling books and some of the future writing projects she has going on there and publishing projects she has going on. So a lot to talk about. Always fun. Wendy's going to have some great things to cover for us. You definitely want to listen. So we're going to come back with Wendy Diamond right after this break. You're listening to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
Buster, you're telling me my dog food products can't go on your shelves?
That's right. Didn't pass one of my Petco certified nutrition checklists. Sorry, Wayne.
Who made these checklists?
Geniuses. Very smart guys.
Well, it's good enough for most grocery stores.
Do you see cheese puffs on my shelves? Mayonnaise? Soda pop?
No.
That's because I ain't running no grocery store, Wayne. Your pets will get better nutrition. I guarantee it. Petco. With healthy pets go.
Enter the code LUCKY10. LUCKY, the number 10, and get 10% off any order. No minimum at petco.com.
How would you like your business to reach out and invite in our audience? We have a brand new trademark concept called InfoSeeds. InfoSeeds are short 20-second seeds of information about your place of business, practice, or service. Is the best, most cost-effective way to invite us in. We only have a limited number of slots left. For more information, visit the website
PetLifeRadio.com.
Click on sponsorship information. There you can listen to a sample of InfoSeed. Remember, only a limited number of opportunities are available.
Welcome to Sassy Seniors, a show about our fabulous older dogs and cats. I'm your host, Kelly Jackson. I wanted to create a show to really showcase our senior pets. And, as the human population ages and lives longer, of course, so are our wonderful pets. But many of us with aging pets, it's so interesting. We have a tough time realizing or really admitting that they are seniors. So, in a way, I kind of like to think of our senior pets as wise puppies. What do you think about that? Be sure to join us for another edition of Sassy Seniors. And remember, celebrate your senior pets.
Every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. This is your host, Tim Link. And joining me now is expert pet lifestyle contributor to NBC's Today Show and also the editor-in-chief of Animal Fair Media. We've got Wendy Diamond. Wendy, welcome to the show.
Hello. How are you, Tim?
Oh, doing fantastic. Thanks for spending some time with us today.
Love it. No problem.
Now, I know you've got a project going on right now. It's a Healthy Aging Month. If everyone didn't know this, it's Healthy Aging Month for the month of September for our cats. Because our cats, majority of them are living longer lives, thank goodness, and they're living into their golden years, as we call it. And it's important to keep your feline friends feeling their best and looking their best. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about the Healthy Aging Month project you got going on with Hill Science Diet and, of course, the Today Show. Tell us a little bit about the project in general, and also I want to know how you're applying these helpful tips and things to your beautiful rescued Russian blue Pasha.
Well, first of all, again, I had to, come to the realization that, my cat Pasha, who I adopted, quite a long time ago, is a senior cat, and it's like no one wants to be a senior, and I mean, I really would think that, they're like a little bit, I would love to think of a better word than a senior, but anyways, so Pasha, is now a senior cat. I mean, any cat now over 11 years old is considered a senior cat. So of course, I've been through so many issues, like in the last year of where, Pasha's had some issues, whether it's like his back leg didn't work and things like that. And it's just like, whoa, I had to really look at Pasha's eating habits and everything to make sure, it changed his diet, because it was so important that my cat is healthy, number one, but also is feeling better and has the vitality of a young kitten.
Exactly.
And that was really important for me. So when I, heard about Hill Science Diet and their age-defying food, I was, it was really important for me to find out more about it. And luckily enough, I, was able to partner with them on this project and really promote what they're doing. Because first of all, anyone who has a senior cat knows, life is short, and especially for cats. And it's so important that they live a healthy and happy life.
Yeah, absolutely. With the advancement in food and nutrition and how we're being more informed on that, and also the veterinarian care and some of the medications and supplements that are out there, the cats and animals in general are living much longer lives. And but how you take care of them in those senior years, or their years of wisdom, we'll call it, is much different than when they were very young.
Right. I mean, it's also their digestive system gets slower. They also, just their energy, like anybody, their muscles and everything. We get older, things change, And, with Hill Science Diet, especially their senior 11 plus age-defying food, what is specifically formulated, really, to fight the effects of aging. And it also is just in 30 days. So meaning, if you put your cat on this diet for 30 days, literally, you're going to see a difference in the way your cat behaves. It's going to have more energy, and it's just going to be a lot more of a happy cat.
Absolutely, which makes us happy, too.
Well, it's so important, like anyone. It's, what you eat is how you feel. And that's the same thing for cats. I always say to people, your vet is the number 2 most important relationship to your cat. Of course, the cat parent is number 1, but the vet is number 2. And I always just say it's just so important to find out the best food for your cat. You'd rather spend more money, right, and getting a better food. You can always buy it in bulk and save a lot more money there, but get the best food for your cat. You're going to have a happy, happy cat.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that I tell people right now that the foods that are manufactured, the premium brand of foods, actually you can use less of the product, still meet the nutritional needs of your pet, and it makes them feel more full. So you're actually, in the short term, it's better to get the premium brands than the ones with all the fillers. And then, as you said, long term, that's where it really comes into play, because if they're not eating a proper diet, that's going to affect them health-wise and emotionally as well. You're going to have more visits to the veterinarian, so thus you're going to pay more money in the long run.
Exactly. And also, there's different aspects to food as well. For instance, you can find the omega-6 fatty acids in the Hill's age-defying cat food, okay? You can't find that in most, over-the-counter regular cat food. And it really promotes an amazing radiant coat from it, but also their skin is softer. And that is seriously something that people have to be aware of when they go and look at what food they want to get for their cat, to look what's in it. Because there's a lot of different aspects that you'll find in different foods, right? And it's what you want for your cat. And, when I looked around at all the cat foods out there, it was just important for me, especially because I have a Russian blue. My cat is the most handsome cat in my building. In fact, all the little kittens in my building are always meowing outside the hallway. It's hysterical. And so, my cat, it means everything to me. He is my child. He is my, and so I really want to make sure, that his coat is beautiful, that his skin is soft, and that he is inside as healthy as he can be in the lasting years.
Now, let's talk a little bit about skincare for cats. In addition to a healthy food regimen, what are some of the other tips that you have to keep their skin and fur healthy and shiny?
Well, first of all, I think it's really, one of the things that I think is most important is grooming. I mean, we all know, that their cat hair and it sheds and et cetera, et cetera. So it's important, I think, that to use different products. I definitely feel a cat comb to get like anything out of your cat's hair is important. I also believe in the cat spa, which is great. That like actually is really fun for the cat, and it is basically it's spokes and bristles. It actually gives them a massage, and that's important. I also think at the end of the day, with the cat, it's just really important because they clean themselves, but just to add a little few things to their lives, make them much happier.
Yeah, and you talked about some of the omega-3s and 6 oils, fish oils, things of this sort that are can be added for additional care for the coat and the skin as well, especially if your animal has allergies.
Exactly. I mean, listen, we need it ourselves as humans. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
we know how important it is for our lives to take this stuff. And truly, our animals are our children. And it's important for those type of vitamins and also acids to be part of their diet.
That's right. And, and I see without the proper diet, that really, when we talk about allergies and things of this sort, I get people that contact me about their pets and a change in their physical demeanor or their emotional demeanor. And part of it, is the fact that they say, well, I think he's, allergic to some of the things in the household or some of the chemicals in the household or being outside in the grass, which environmental allergens are a big part of it. But in addition to that, people may not be quite aware of the fact of how food comes into play and how food allergens, certain foods can trigger, like heavy grains or poultry type products can often trigger a sensitive cat's allergies.
Right. I mean, first of all, people are allergic to cats, and there's a lot of things you can do for that, of course, the Claritin and all the different Zyrtec and et cetera. But it's the same thing with cats. You just have to be aware, and the most important thing is just to have your vet tell you what's the best way to treat those.
That's right. Now, when we're talking about the physical aspects, how proper nutrition and grooming and these things can physically make them feel better and look better. But as they get older, do you got any helpful tips about how do you keep an older cat's or an elderly cat's mind engaged and keep them active mentally to fight off things like depression, some of the things that we go through as humans?
Well, it's anything. First of all, playing with your cat is the most important thing. I mean, you could go to any Petco and grab one of those little feathers, right? And keep your cat going and spend a good 15 minutes in the morning and 15 good minutes after you get home from work and just play with your cat. Give them exercise. It's so important no matter how old a cat can be. Exercise is a key component. They're not going to be able to jump as high anymore. So it's also about finding some more of those little games that you can play with your cat lower down on the floor. There's a great product out there. It's one of these things like, you get is the cat maze, right? And that,
Right.
It's an amazing, it's called Cat It Design Senses Food Maze. I have to tell you, it's really kind of fun. And it's this maze where you could actually just put whether you're going to get Hillstein's diet and the HIM, you put it throughout the maze, and the cat has to actually spend time going through the chambers and spinning and rotating and exploring through this maze to get the food. And anything you can do, just because, cats are smart and they love to explore. They're hunters. So the more you can think of creative ways to hide food, make them think about it, so forth. And there's a lot of products out there in the marketplace now that are designed to help cats think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a big part of it because the physical stimulation, the physical activity, goes in conjunction with the mental activity. And I think a lot of times people think, well, dogs have to be active and inquisitive. You take them on walks, etc. And for cats, we look at that when they're kittens, we play with them a lot more. But as they start to get a little bit older, we tend to forget that.
When they're kittens, and they're smaller, they're just like, they have so much energy they can't stop, right? And when they want to play because they come and hit you and da-da-da-da. Cats are more relaxed and, you just definitely, I think that people need to realize, they are so much fun and adorable, and that the more that you give back to them, they're going to give twofold back to you.
Absolutely.
And another thing is, I'm not sure if people even realize, a lot about what I've noticed is it's important also, do you even know, about your cat's age? And another thing you can do is actually there's a new science site came out with a new cat age quiz. And it's a really easy way for you to determine really how your cat feels. You know what I mean? It's like some people don't realize my cat's really happy, blah, 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 blah. Well, I mean, I think it's also they've spent a lot of money on determining, truly on the study of how you can determine how your cat feels. And that is an important way because, you really want to keep that, youthful sense to your cat.
And if people want to take this quiz, do they go to which site would they go to? Yeah,
it's just really easy, actually. You just go to hillspet.com and /defy age.
There you go. And you can take the quiz for yourself, find out the real age, how your cat feels, and the real age of your cat, because I think you'd be surprised.
Yeah, it's definitely, when I did it, when I did the quiz, I was just like, wow. It's like kind of funny. You learn a lot about your cat, and you also learn a lot about what you can do to help your cat.
All right, so everybody check it out. It's Healthy Aging Month for the month of September. Wendy Diamond has teamed up with Hill Science Diet to promote it and make us more aware of how to best take care of our more wiser felines friends. And obviously, you can catch Wendy on the Today Show, NBC's Today Show, talking a lot about this and other things as well. We're going to take a little bit of break, and we'll come right back with Wendy Diamond. You're listening to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
Love your pets but wish their medications were a lot less expensive? They are at 1-800-PET-MEDS. You'll not only save on flea and heartworm medications, but on prescriptions for arthritis, incontinence, thyroid, and more. And you get fast service, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Plus, our licensed pharmacists ensure accuracy, monitor drug interaction, and more. See why over 5 million people have trusted their pet's health to 1-800-PET-MEDS, America's largest pet pharmacy. Call now or order online.
Go to petmeds.com/lucky, Lucky, to get 10% off any order and free shipping on orders of $39 or more at petmeds.com.
I don't make any decisions about who to hire without going to Angie's List first.
You'll find reviews on home repair to healthcare, written by people just like you.
With Angie's List, I know who to call, and I know the results will be fantastic.
Angie's List, who you can trust.
Go to angieslist.com/rights and get 25% off any subscription. That's angieslist.com/rights, WRITES.
They are my children. They are the furry elders and kids. They are my family. They understand me. That's how I love my pets.
I Love My Pets, the new single by Mark Winter, available on iTunes.
Coast to coast and around the world, it's Oh Behave with Arden Moore. Find out why cats and dogs do the things they do and get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get great tail-wagging pet tips and have a fur-flying fun time. Oh Behave with America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore. Every week on demand. This is the place for a special paparazzi treat. Only on PetLifeRadio.com. Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. This is your host, Tim Link, and I am here with Wendy Diamond. Now, Wendy, you are, of course, an animal rescue advocate like me. How did you really get started on this mission to get involved with rescuing and help promote these wonderful animals?
Well, I really don't like to discuss my age nor my cat's age, but I will say 12 years ago, I went to the city shelter. I moved to New York City, and I grew up with animals in Ohio. I grew up outside of Cleveland, and I always had animals. And I wanted to adopt, and I went to the city shelter, and I saw this, Pasha, my cat. He was actually the next cat in line that was, ready. He was older, actually, when I adopted him. And he was the next cat in line, to be euthanized. So I literally was like, oh no, this cat is too handsome to be euthanized. And I adopted him. And at that point in my life, I was actually a cookbook author. I had 2 cookbooks out, and I raised money for homeless people. And I worked with Madonna and a bunch of celebrities, and we raised a lot of money for different homeless organizations across the country. And at that point, when I walked in the city shelter, it was so dirty, and it was really kind of not nice. And I just thought, my God, you've got the most beautiful animals in here. How on earth, do people not realize you can? I just adopted a purebred Russian blue cat, and that's kind of how it all, happened to me. I decided to help homeless animals. I launched Animal Fair, which is fairness to animals, to promote animal rescue, welfare issues, and, definitely adoption. And that is kind of how my career started.
And that's amazing. Yeah, and that's one of the things I tell people all the time when they're looking for an animal, whether we're talking dogs or cats or virtually anything, there's rescues out there for virtually every animal nowadays, is to take a look at the rescue organizations in your local shelters, because it's not just all mixed breeds or animals that are down on their luck. They just need a good home to be in, and a lot of times they are purebreds.
Yeah, I think, it's important. Like, people don't really realize, rescue is local. A lot of times you get some of these bigger organizations send you things in the mail and you're like, wait a minute, it's like you want to donate money because they're so heart-wrenching. But people don't realize, the local shelters in your community really need the support of their community. And definitely, just take a look at those shelters and, just see, because there's so, you might be surprised at, like, maybe not understanding how a golden retriever is versus a mutt, but, both are amazing animals and both can be found in shelters.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a good point about being part of the local community, getting involved. Because I know we rescued our two beautiful schnauzers, our boys, Buzz and Woody. They were within a day of being euthanized. And at that point, we were always donating our finances to rescue organizations, but we never really got involved in the grassroots. But that's how we got involved. The boys woke us up. We started contacting a few local rescue groups, started volunteering our time and our efforts. And before I knew it, I was president of one of the local rescue groups. And we've been involved with rescue ever since. And it's a great way to give back. It's a great way to help the animals out. And it's a lot of fun, too.
Yeah, I definitely. And I also think, that people don't realize, what? It is easy having a pet. They are like so low maintenance. All they want to do is have a little food, be played with, sleep. That's it. And like truly be, and give you unconditional love. And I think that's really what people are looking for, especially in this day and this economy.
Model your life after, live a dog or a cat's life. That's the key to happy life, I believe.
Oh, let's hope more people learn that.
That's right. Now, Wendy, tell us a little bit about Animal Fair Media. You're the editor-in-chief. Tell us a little bit about, I know you mentioned how it got started, but tell us what all that is involved in that.
We actually are, basically what we do is we promote animal rescue and adoption with working with like different celebrities, their organizations, people who have adopted animals, amazing people making a difference in the world of animals, whether it's, people working with pets such as cats and dogs to people helping elephants around the world.
And you just got back from a big trip, didn't you, to help elephants around the world?
Yeah, so I just came back. I worked with Lack, who runs the Elephant Nature Park, and she has a sanctuary up there up by Chiang Mai, Thailand. And she truly is like the Jane Goodall of elephants. It's incredible what she's done for elephants in Thailand. Elephants in Thailand are actually endangered versus the ones in Africa. So it's, what I always say to people is like, you don't really realize, but, if our animals go in this world, it's going to be a short world after that, and it's really important for us to just take note that we need to support and help the environment. And the environment absolutely 100% includes the endangered animals and all animals.
So there's a lot of ways we can help out and a lot of ways to educate ourselves. And people can find out more about all the efforts and all the things that you're doing at animalfair.com. Is that correct?
Yeah, if they go to animalfair.com, which is fairness to animals, of course, and animalfair.com, or they can just go to wendydiamond.com. We do a lot of events. We do the Today Show, we do Fox, we do all those shows, but, we also do a lot of events for our local, shelter, which is what we've taken note. And, anything from Pause for Style, which you can see on October 4th, is going to be on Bravo on the new Mad Fashion Show with Chris March. We're on that new series. We're going to be on an episode where we did our Pause for Style fashion show, where we got major fashion designers, everyone from Ralph Lauren to Mark Bauer, to design one-of-a-kind dog outfits. And Chris March was on Project Runway, and he has a new show on Bravo, and it's going to be a really, really funny show. And that's an event we did which raised a lot of money for animal rescue. And we also do our big Halloween event that's coming up October 26th in New York. And then we're taping in October. We'll be on the new Hero Dogs show, award show that's actually going to air on Hallmark. And that's going to be with Betty White and Carson Kressley. You might have remembered him. He's going to be on Dancing with the Stars, but Carson, was on Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
Right,
and we're going to be taping that in Los Angeles the end of this month. So we do just a lot of stuff just to keep, in the forefront of media, just animal rescue, adoption, and welfare issues.
Other than that, it's a dull, uneventful life, right?
No, it's so, I always laugh. I'm like, you know what? I kind of concocted this amazing, career of just what I love. I absolutely love pop culture, and I absolutely love more helping animals and people, you know. And I just think, you know, being able to have a life like this has really just been wonderful. I mean, it was a lot of work, and, you know, I was in it before pets were, you know, part of the forefront of media. I mean, I was in it in 1999 when, you know, it was really only dog shows and breeders, and now you see animal rescue is in the forefront, and it's really important. I think it's great.
We're glad you're out there doing it. That's the good thing.
Having fun.
And I don't know if you knew it or not, but I had a nice little interview in your 10th anniversary edition of your Animal Fair magazine.
Of course I remember, Tim. Of course I remember.
So I'm there. I'm proud, and it has Charlize Theron on the front, so I can say Charlize and I are good personal friends because we're in the same magazine together.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, listen, I mean, it's funny, you know, when it comes to animals, those celebrities love to talk about it, you know, because literally in their lives it's a very, you know, it's a hard life for those people in the sense of, you know, people. And I think animals, when they come home after those crazy days, you know, they're the only ones that are comforting to them.
And it gives everybody a common bond. You know, this is a commonality. You don't have to be a celebrity, but you can be. You can be in any walk of life, and the animals bring us all together. Now, I'd be remiss to not talk about some of your books. You've obviously had best-selling books, How to Understand Men Through Their Dogs and How to Understand Women Through Their Cats, but you also have a new project you're working on, I believe.
Yeah, I'm doing How to Train Your Boss to Roll Over, and it's a book that I kind of wrote about, you know, just to kind of help people in this economy find a new job, how to work in the workplace with their boss. And it's a really funny book on training tips on how to make your boss roll over.
Fantastic. And
you know, How to Understand Men Through Their Dogs is a funny humor book. You know, some people are like, oh, do you really, you know, I would get these really funny, like, emails from them, like, are you kidding? That's not me. But Chicago Sun-Times said my book was 99% accurate. So any listeners out there that are women and they're looking, or men, that are looking for the right breed of man, you know, this is the absolutely perfect book because you won't have to waste time in the dog park anymore.
The right breed of man. I love how you put that.
Well, now, you know, listen, you know, the gays love their animals.
Well, absolutely. It's a big part of my life.
A lot of them have children, and that, you know, in New York City, I, you know, have a lot of friends that are, and it's like so important, you know, like I say to people, you know what, it doesn't matter. Pets are amazing for everybody.
And so the next book after that could be How to Train Your Spouse or your boyfriend to Roll Over. That would be good. How to Train Your Man to Roll Over. That would be good.
I don't know if I want to go that into. I don't want to do the research for that.
That could be messy. All right, Wendy. So tell us anything else going on. You know, that's not much going on in your life, I know, but there's just so many different projects.
Well, you know, I also do all the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. You know, so I also, you know, partnered with Chicken Soup for the Soul, and we have My Cat's Life actually out right now. That just came out in the last 3 months ago.
Okay, great. So everybody,
and My Cat's Life, 101 stories that will make you cry, make you laugh about, you know, the people's cats that have actually changed their lives.
There you go. They do. So everybody can pick that up at their local bookstores or on Amazon.com or their favorite spot. They like to purchase their books. So that's My Cat's Life. Fantastic. All right, Wendy.
And that's part of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series.
And which is always a great series. So, Wendy, tell us a little bit about tell us once again how people can find out more about you and the projects you've got going on. And I know you've got Twitter and Facebook and all those wonderful things going on as well.
Right, and it's easy. Just go to wendydiamond.com. Wendy, you know, like Wendy's hamburgers, and then Diamond, like the ring, wendydiamond.com. And then you can find out all the information, see where we're going, what we're doing, et cetera, et cetera.
Very good. So check it out.
Never a dull moment. Never a dull moment.
So check out everything that's going on, and also team up with Wendy on Twitter and Facebook. And never forget Lucky. How's Lucky doing?
Lucky is doing amazing. She's, you know, funny. And, you know, I have a senior dog, too. You know, it's a little, you know, I've had these guys for a long time. So they're both adorable. My cat and dog are best friends. And I have a little video that I have not released, but it's the funniest little video of them. You've never seen a dog and cat play like these two.
All in the family. Everybody's
and that's where I'll leave it.
Okay, we'll be looking for that to come out. I want to see that one. That'll be great. And of course, Lucky has her own blog and everything as well.
Yes, she does. And it's really funny. We also do a Who Got Lucky column, and I get a kick out of it because, you know, Who Got Lucky came about, you know, about 7 years ago at a dinner party. I couldn't believe it. It was like a little surreal. I was at a dinner with Sandra Bullock and Hugh Grant, and I didn't want to be like, oh, and it was like 10-person dinner, and I didn't want to be, you know, say, oh, hey, can I get my picture with you? So I started Who Got Lucky. I was like, oh, hey, my dog's here, and my dog is your biggest fan, and that's kind of, I did this Who Got Lucky column, and I got Hugh Grant with Lucky, and so that's like one of the little columns that I do for Lucky on animalfair.com.
Oh my goodness! And I'm sure Lucky doesn't ask.
So
for
you'll never know who she'll end up with.
That's right. That's right. And so I know she loves it, and I'm sure there's a little bit of incentive for her in the form of treats and extra love as well.
Exactly. No tricks without treats when it comes to Lucky.
All right, Wendy, thanks again for joining us. We appreciate you being on today. Everybody, check out everything that's going on with Wendy at wendydiamond.com. And once again, it's Healthy Aging Month for the month of September, and Wendy's teamed up with Hill Science Diet and the Today Show to promote that. So get out there and take care of those beautiful kitties, especially in their older years. So we appreciate that. So, Wendy, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Tim.
All right, so you've been listening to Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. Coming to the end of the show today, so thanks to Wendy Diamond once again for being on the show. Also want to thank all the sponsors and producers for making this show possible. We appreciate it, and I know I definitely appreciate it. To find out more about me, Tim Link, and other guests that I've interviewed on the Animal Rights Show, and the stories in my blog, you can go to Pet Life Radio, visit petliferadio.com, and check out the Animal Rights tab. Read the blogs, download the interviews. You will not be unhappy with anything you read or hear on there. And while you're there, check out all the other shows and all the other guests that we have on. It's a whole plethora of wonderful, wonderful shows that Pet Life Radio has on. And that's at petliferadio.com. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas for the show or guests you'd like to see on the show, please drop me an email. You can email me at tim@petliferadio.com. That's tim@petliferadio.com. And I'll be glad to answer your questions, entertain your comments, and do my very best to get the people you want to hear most on the show. So until next time, write a great story about the animals in your life, share it in a blog, article, or in a book, and who knows, you may be the next guest on Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. Have a great day.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.